Alright guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. Well, I just took my little breather tube off. I got the breather cover off here and the plate that holds it from sucking in. It just sits on them little stobs, doesn't bolt in or anything, just sits there. Now I'm taking this breather cover loose so I can take it off. Alright, I got those two nuts off. Now, it still won't come off. There's a vibration bracket on the back right here. I loosened it up. I'm taking it out. Now, I watched a couple YouTube videos, and one company I was watching said they supply you with a spacer for there and whatever. Alright, I haven't had to do that. Looks like I got to take this breather tube off on my model, so hang on a second. All right, that's all it was. I just squeezed that with my fingers and lifted that up. Now I got to get the carburetor ready. That looks like that's a vent line from the gas tank, so probably not going to need that since I'm not planning on running gasoline. So I'm just going to kind of throw it up here out of the way. I got the WD-40 out because my breather was full of black widow eggs and dead bugs and stuff it had eaten, you know, on the open part. So I'm gonna clean that out, even though it doesn't really matter, but I sprayed it all with WD-40. It'll kill the spider and the eggs and whatever. So anyway, here's where we're at. This carburetor should be loose now and just slide right off. Now I know this gasket is supposed to come off as well, but I don't want that gasket to tear because the carburetor kit, conversion kit that I ordered did not come with a new one. And I've got some gasket material. I could make a new one if I had to, but it's not something I want to do. All right, so on this model, to crank it, you've got a knob over there that turns and turns to choke on, and then turn it further to run, and then back to off. So I'm hoping the gas is off when I take this loose. We'll find out in just a minute, I guess. All right, that was it. I just folded it up here out of the way. It only leaked a few drops. Nothing to worry about. So the next thing would be to disconnect this cable that runs back some blooping where, I don't know. It looks like a Phillips head screw. Need to loosen it up to pull that cable out. It's right here. And then I got to take this spring off. And then the new carburetor should just slide right on. Let's see. All right, so I just pulled the little spring hook off, the other throttle cable, and this. So, and slid the carburetor right off. So we will grab the new one and see what it does. All right, guys. So now I've got to hook that spring back up and this other cable here. And not sure if I need that or not. I think that's the choke cable, and this has got a manual one. I already put the handle on. It's got one screw. It's the only part that came not attached. Had one screw in the box and this handle. And the thing about it was no instructions, nothing whatsoever. So anyway, I've watched a few YouTube videos to get me there. Hang on. Okay guys, so the carburetor's on. I slid the breather back on and just set that in place. That's all it does, is set on those little plastic stobs right there. So just set it in place. Now I'm gonna put this hose back. So now there's some, I saw some online where they left the existing carburetor, the original gas carburetor, on. Now I ordered the kit that came with a new carburetor with the conversion kit already on it. So my primer button is right here, or choke button, whatever you want to add a little fuel before you try to crank it. And it's got a manual arm on it for clutch. I'm not sure what that cable there's for, but I can tell you I don't need the gas fuel line. Of course, it's got one back there. I should have put that on first. So pull that back off. and take that back. All right, so this fuel line for their existing carburetor, their original carburetor, is too big for the spout on this one. So I'm going to go try to see if I've got a clamp that'll fit that I can tighten it down. I don't know. I may have to replace that fuel line. I don't know yet. Let me go look. Okay, so you will need a clamp if your fuel line's too big like mine was. Now I'm going to put the breather back on. I got to put the back plate on, which just slides on. I'm trying to do this pretty much one-handed, guys. But, all right, get it where it lines up. Get your breather tube lined up in the hole. There we go. Just stuff it in there, and this slides back. The problem is that breather tube gets in the way of putting that nut on. So don't put it all the way in. But that's all there is to it. And then put the nuts back in place. I'm going to tighten them with my fingers, and then I'll grab my ratchet, my little 1/4-inch drive ratchet, and tighten them up. And, well, fingers aren't wanting to get that one started. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to snug these up. This thing has a lot of vibration, so you don't want it loose, but you don't want to strip your stuff either. So I got them pretty snug. And now this bracket, since this carburetor came made for propane, we'll shove that in a little bit further like it was originally. That's choke, and that's run. All right, so although I got a new carburetor and with the propane LP conversion, or natural gas conversion, but I'm using propane. Sound like I got company. So I've got to go get a hose to attach to the propane tank. I'll be back. All right, guys. So she's mounted. This would normally mount to here. It's the choke. But this one has a manual choke on it, which is fine. Here is where, let me get down here so I can show y'all. Here's where your gas line hooks up. And again, this kit did not come with the gas line. So now I've got to go to town and try to buy a gas line to connect to my propane tanks, you know. Supposedly that's all I need. I'll find out once I get it hooked up. I don't know if the local Lowe's here has the gas line that I need or what, but I guess I'm fixing to find out. I just don't know. But I'll let y'all know as soon as I get that on, and we'll see how it works. Alright guys, so I'm going to try to start this thing. I've got it good and primed. Remember, this doesn't choke it anymore. The manual choke does. Well, it'll run on gas. So, it's supposed to run on gas or propane or natural gas, either one. But I've got to get a hose to hook up the propane, so that's the next step. Alright guys, I know it's loud, the generator's running. I'm gonna zoom in. You look right there, I put a cutoff valve on the gas line. When I went to Lowe's, I bought a cutoff valve kit, which is charged way too much for, but I got it on there. And I could not find the fitting I wanted to hook the gas line up without that barb fitting that came with it. So I just used the barb fitting. Got it hooked up, got the gas cut off. I'm gonna let it run for 15-20 minutes. It's on a tank that's completely full. Sounds like it's running good to me. The choke works, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna let it run to get that gas out of the carburetor that I had in there when I cranked the generator when I first put it on. So I want the propane to clear that carburetor out and let it run for a few minutes. And I'll show y'all the details after I shut it off. Alright guys, I pulled it till I wore myself out trying to crank it on propane. I switched tanks. A buddy told me, well, he'd seen the tank's valve go bad and not let enough gas go through, but I switched tanks. Both of them still had the red cap on them. So I flipped the gas, turned the gas on, and after about 3 or 4 pulls, it cranked up because I ran it out. And now I've got the gas off and turned the propane on. And it'll usually run about 5 minutes. And if the propane don't kick in, I don't know what to do about it. I'm gonna have to take it to somebody that works on generators, you know, propane. So I don't know, but I've done everything I know to do to make it run on propane. That was the whole purpose of buying that kit. See how it's dying? That was the whole purpose of buying that kit, was a new carburetor with the conversion for propane already on it. I ain't even finished breathing hard from trying to crank that thing. But turn the gas off. I'm just gonna have to take it to somebody. It normally cranks on the 2nd or 3rd pull with gas if I don't let it run out like I just did. But like that tiller, it'll crank on the 2nd or 3rd pull. Never had to pull it more than 3 times. But either way, I've tried. So I'm gonna have to get the time and the money up to get this thing to an actual person that can fix it and make it work right. I don't know whether it's the conversion kit that I bought or if there's something I missed. It's pretty doggone simple, but I'll let y'all know when I get it figured out. So thank y'all for watching. I appreciate you. Remember what I always tell you. Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe. Be prepared.